Now we turn to a pedophile that preyed upon girls, who, of course, is also a Republican.
So this is the ghostwriter, or actually the co-writer, of 2 books that Mike Huckabee wrote. And I love the titles of these books. Do the Right Thing, Inside the Movement That's Bringing Common Sense Back to America, and Character is the Issue. You gotta love that. So his writing partner here, John Perry, has actually been, he's come clean. Like, he's actually admitted to molesting, like you said, young girls. And this isn't the only person. This is in Mike Huckabee's life. And this is what's really complicating Huckabee's bid, I think, to run. This is a man who has historically sold like snake oil treatments, anti-diabetic treatments. This is a man who is like really linked to the Duggar family. I mean, that's another person who has admitted now to molesting young girls, not just young girls, but his own sisters. So there you've got the double whammy, the pedophilia and the incest. And Huckabee has continuously defended these individuals, has come to their defense, and has also worked very, very closely with them. Now, we're not sitting here saying that Mike Huckabee himself has committed any sort of crime in this respect, but he has been very close to just kind of a trail of devastation with regard to this really, really just sinister behavior.
Yeah, and his efforts to distance himself from them have been failures. You know, and when you add the horrible Wayne Dumont story, which is still connected to Huckabee, the rapist who he worked to get out of prison, perhaps because that guy shared Huckabee's religious fervor, and then he raped and murdered after his release from prison when he was governor. He certainly wouldn't be the only chief executive to get someone out of prison who then did something terrible afterwards, but nonetheless, it's something that it's a worthy thing for people to talk about. But then, you know, he gave that speech earlier this year where he talked about, when talking about Caitlyn Jenner, and that, you know, this absurd comment that if he'd known now that that he would have called himself a woman so he could have gotten into the bathroom when he was in high school.
Yeah, and like ogled all the girls in the showers.
What kind of hideous creep are you? Just who talks like this? Who thinks bathrooms are the issue here?
Yeah.
And also, yeah, who doesn't think that if they say something like that out loud, that it's not going to be received with disgust?
Yeah. And,
I mean,
and this guy, it's just, yeah, I mean, somebody who sort of has lived a life where that sort of behavior is not, where those sort of things aren't thought of as disgusting in any way.
So how is it that this person who has so much political power has just time after time again found himself having these deep relationships with individuals who are under scrutiny for the most heinous of crimes? I mean, is that like wrong time, wrong part, just over and over and over? Does he just attract these kinds of people in his life?
So there are 2 components to this. One is the Mike Huckabee angle. Here's a guy who, along with all other conservatives, said, my God, Obama sat in the pew as Reverend Wright said things that they considered un-American. Well, he didn't co-write a book with Reverend Wright, right? This John Perry guy, you spent, I assume, a ton of time to write 2 books, ironically labeled "Do the Right Thing" and "Character is the Issue." According to Nashville Police Department spokesperson, he molested the victim. The girl involved was between the ages of 11 and 14. The
alleged victim, whatever. There's no criminal charges even filed.
No, but there was a sworn affidavit during divorce proceedings where he admitted to doing this.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty.
Right.
Like this was, you know, his wife said, "This is why we're getting divorced."
Right. The wife said it. I don't think he said it.
No, he did.
Yeah.
He admitted it.
Yeah.
In the divorce, yes, he molested a girl between the ages of 11 and 14.
But of course, the statute of limitations had passed.
But if you want to say on the Huckabee issue, hey, guys, guilt by association is not right. Okay. To me, the larger issue is the second issue, which is that conservative, fundamentalist right-wingers who love to blame others and judge other people's lives. You know, oh, the gays, and oh, the society's falling apart, last days of Pompeii, and ha-ha, Caitlyn Jenner this and that. And then it turns out, oh, look at that, Dennis Hastert's a pedophile, Huckabee's co-writer is a pedophile, Josh Duggar, who they have knighted, you know, and Huckabee has defended over and over again, is an incestuous
pedophile.
I mean, you could argue he was 14 years old at the time, but is a, I guess, incestuous molester, right?
Okay.
And so you got to understand that they're not driven to actually protect your family. They call it family values, but they don't mean that at all. And in fact, if someone has molested your family, they're oftentimes the first ones to, if they're in the right camp, they're on the right team, the first ones to step up and defend them. That's why Brit Hume and Geraldo at Fox jump up and say Hastert's the victim the first time they hear the story, right? No. Huckabee jumps up and says, Josh Duggar's, oh no, he was not a victim, but like he was a young kid and the Duggars handled it the right way. So, no, they don't mean any of that. All they want to do is be on that team, and they want to attack everybody else on the other team. The problem is, like, it's one thing to attack in terms of we don't agree. Like, I attack Huckabee because I don't agree with his ideas. It's another thing to say those people should be treated differently. They shouldn't have the same rights as we do. We should pass laws against them. That's an entirely different matter. And understand that when they say that, their agenda is not to protect your family. Their agenda is hate and politics. That's what it is.
And I get that, I get that that is the agenda when it comes to trying to pass legislation. I think what's so confusing to me about these stories, as somebody who does try to look at the scientific underpinnings of these things and who tries to understand the mental illness involved, the kind of, I guess, disconnect between reality and some sort of reality that you've built up in your mind, is that this story is fundamentally about hypocrisy. Why defend the Duggars? Why get involved with these individuals? How is that in alliance with any of these people's core values?
Because he's on their team. He was at Josh Duggar was at the Family Research Council, which of course Huckabee loves. They're Republicans from Arkansas. They're his people.
But even when somebody's on your team, if you're savvy at all, you learn when to distance yourself from them. You learn when that's the turd in the pool and they're bringing the whole team down. You don't defend them to your last breath. It's just, he was defending them above and beyond, Josh Duggar at least, above and beyond Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly was like, oh, I don't know, man, he did admit it. And he's like, it doesn't matter, he was the victim. Like, what is that?
Yeah, well,
Sad.
The one thing it is not is a concern about morality. That is not the issue, never has been.